it felt like almost yesterday Jalen Carter was getting ejected in week 1 between the Eagles and Cowboys, but no, we are actually all the way to the end of the season. This is absolutely crazy to be saying. Super Bowl matchup has been finalized, of course, with the NFC and AFC championship games this past weekend. The Seahawks and Patriots. Yes, this is not 2014. We are in 2026, and it is Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots Super Bowl. Ridiculous to be saying right now. And then, most importantly, for our mock draft in our draft cycle, it is Senior Bowl. Senior Bowl is on January 31st, if I'm not mistaken, and it's going to be fun to be able to watch it. Just kind of see some guys that might be some sleepers, might be able to rise up draft boards, go down draft boards, you never know. And that's what we're going to be doing today, is we're going to be talking, having some players that are a little different. It's going to be our first round mock draft, of course. We're not going to make it too crazy, but there might be a little bit of players we haven't had on here yet or in different spots. So without further ado, before I get started, I just want to mention, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, you keep coming back to my videos, or this is your first video and you enjoy it, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. It's free. We're trying to hit 1,000 by the end of 2026. We're at 490 right now, so we're just almost at that halfway mark. Let's get into it. First overall pick, national champion in the offensive MVP, everything. He's been awesome for him all year. There's something in the air tonight, and there's something in the air in Las Vegas. It's going to be Fernando Mendoza. I still can't believe some people don't think he is worth being a first overall selection and don't think it. Yeah, it is a pretty weak quarterback class, but he is by far the best quarterback in this class, and the Raiders by far need a quarterback. You do need to bolster that O-line. So there is a world where the Raiders, I don't see it happening in this world, but in an alternate reality, there's a world where the Raiders trade back and get some pieces and everything, but that quarterback spot is such a big need with Geno Smith just not cutting in his 30s, mid to high 30s actually. Mendoza is much needed. Now, pick number 2, this has been basically a write-in for me. It's going to be Arvell Reese. You just need an absolute playmaker like Reese on a team like the Jets, who need everything. That whole defense is atrocious. You got 0 interceptions this last season. You got to figure out something to fix that team, and it helps beating a guy like Arvell Reese, who's an absolute athlete, and he can really help your defense figure out an identity. I guess that's the best way to put it. You do have, you did draft 2 edge rushers in the past, I think it was 4 years. You've drafted 2 edge rushers in the first round, first 2 rounds, but this guy is unlike something else. Unlike those guys, he's something else. So we're going to go Arvell Reese number 2. Now, number 3, the Cardinals. He is honestly my number 1 tackle prospect. A lot of people still do have Fano as their one. Mine, it's Francis Mauigoa. Mauigoa is going to go 3rd overall. I just think in a draft like this, there's teams up at the top that could use tackles and use guards, and one of those teams is the Cardinals. And the Cardinals need anywhere on the line other than obviously getting rid of Paris Johnson Jr. would be just stupid of them. He's a great tackle. They need to get somebody to help him on that offensive line and really just boost up that line, because you don't know who your quarterback is next year. It could be Kyler Murray. It could be someone else. I think, giving Kyler Murray another shot with a new OC now, that Drew Petzing is now with the Lions, it's worth keeping Kyler back there and just getting a guy to protect Kyler. So Francis Mauigoa, he is 3rd overall, and I really do think he has a top 10. He's the only tackle in this class, in my opinion, that is a guaranteed top 10 pick. Fano could probably fall out and maybe go to the Rams at 13, but for now, we're going to go Francis Mauigoa at 3. And now at 4, for the Tennessee Titans, I'm still going to put Ruben Bain Jr. I did Carnell Tate, I believe, last time. We're going to go edge rusher, of course. And I've seen people think that David Bailey is the number 1 true edge, and they're both really good. In my opinion, it's more of a 1A, 1B situation. They're both fantastic in their own ways. Ruben Bain had 12 sacks this year, excellent season. David Bailey, I think 15. They're both freaks. I think Bain's just stronger. David Bailey's definitely more quicker. His first step is unbelievable. His burst is crazy. Too bad he's been at Stanford for so long. He really finally got to show off his skill this year. But Ruben Bain Jr., I feel like every time I watched one of their games, he was in the backfield. He made Indiana, him and his teammate Akeem Mesidor made Indiana's first half a living hell. I mean, they were getting in the backfield in the first half, even in the second half too, but they made their adjustments, Indiana did, to win the game. But those two guys are very, very impressive. And Akeem Mesidor is a guy that I think we had at the end of the first round in the last mock. We'll see where he goes in this one. But Ruben Bain Jr., in my opinion, 1A, 1B with David Bailey, but I'm going to have to go with Ruben Bain Jr. I think a guy like him would just be a little bit better for a team with a team like the Titans who have T'Vondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons. So being able to get a guy like Ruben Bain Jr. to make that pass rush even scarier, that's amazing. Now 5 to the New York Giants. Giants are going to go either one or two Ohio State players. I'm going to go with Carnell Tate. It's either Carnell Tate or Caleb Downs here at pick number 5 for the Giants. John Harbaugh, just came from Baltimore. They had a Kyle Hamilton guy. Caleb Downs could be a Kyle Hamilton guy for the Giants. You could see that happening. Mike McDonald did that with Seattle with Nick Amenwari. Is they went and got his Kyle Hamilton-esque guy because he was the one who really helped Kyle Hamilton at the beginning of his career. Being the Ravens' former defensive coordinator, now Seahawks head coach in the Super Bowl. And Amenwari's been fantastic. Caleb Downs is going to be fantastic for whoever drafts him. But in this situation, I think Carnell Tate's the right play. You don't know if Wan'Dale Robinson is going to be re-signed. So do you really want to go out there with Darius Slayton as your wide receiver too? No, you don't. So Carnell Tate to the New York Giants to really just help that offense that's pretty young. So pick number 6 now here to the Cleveland Browns. There's two things in play at 6. Wide receiver, tackle. And in this scenario, we're going to go tackle. I think we did it last time as well. We're going to go Spencer Fano. I like Spencer Fano a lot. He's a great player. I do think, as I said, Francis Mauigoa has become a little bit better on my board than Spencer Fano. Fano's still a great player. Don't get me wrong. And there's a world where he doesn't go in the top 10. I think there's a world where the Browns draft wide receiver. The only way I see that happening is if Carnell Tate's at 6. My concerns with Jordan Tyson, with Makai Lemon, Tyson's injury history, Makai Lemon's size compared to his speed. Really not the fastest guy for how small he is, but I think you need to protect whoever your quarterback's going to be next year in Cleveland. And, I mean, you saw Shedeur had a absolutely terrible rookie year. But he had no time at all because of how bad that line is. So I think Fano is a way to be able to start off strong by improving your offensive line. Now, Washington Commanders at pick 7. Caleb Downs has been my favorite pick here. We're going to switch it up. They do need edge rushers so badly, and David Bailey's available. His numbers show. His raw numbers will show. I mean, he's all around one of the best edge rushers we've seen in a while coming into the draft. Him and Ruben Bain Jr. Absolutely amazing edge rushers. And so I think whoever picks David Bailey is going to be very, very happy. Obviously, it could be upwards to 2, honestly. You could see him going all the way to the Jets. And it could be as down as I'd probably say 12. I think the farthest David Bailey would go on the board is 12. I had him going like 14 to the Ravens, but opinions change, but David Bailey to the Commanders is what I'm going to do here. And so with that, our two best true edge rushers are off the board. And now the Saints. And we're going to do it again. It's Jeremiah Love until it isn't. I just think that running back room could really use help. You do have two young guys in Devin Neal and Kendre Miller. Kendre Miller's been in the league for, I think, 3 seasons. He's been hurt for all 3 of them. Devin Neal also getting hurt at the end of the year, and then Alvin Kamara, just nothing going on. And the problem with the Saints running back room is they have the most expensive running back room because Kamara's getting paid a lot. And so they do need to figure something out there. Kamara's obviously kind of on his last leg. And so they do need to figure out a long-term situation, which Devin Neal could very well be the solution. Kendre Miller could very well be the solution. A player like Jeremiah Love's caliber, however, available at you when you do have a question mark at running back for the future, you don't pass up on it. So I'm going to go Jeremiah Love to the Saints. Now, number 9 to the Chiefs. My big thing is defensive line, and we're going to go Keldrick Falk for the Chiefs. Some people have been going Peter Woods. I just think defensive interior, yeah, it could help. Chris Jones getting up there in age. I think edge rusher would be better. Keldrick Falk's a big, strong guy that you can throw at a 3-tech, 4-tech. He's an edge rusher who's, I think, 270. Like 285. I was even further off. He's 285 pounds and he's an edge rusher. And he's a dang good one. Obviously, the numbers this last season weren't the best in the world. However, who cares? Who cares? You've seen what he's able to do. I mean, you should care. That was kind of a bad way to put it. But Keldrick Falk's a beast. His size, his unlimited upside. He has an unlimited upside. You're going to find very little upside players with higher upside in this draft than Keldrick Falk. I just said upside a lot there. But absolute stud, absolute monster. He is deserving of a top 10 pick, even though some people don't think he is. And so we're going to give him 9 to the Chiefs. Now, pick 10 to the Bengals. We're going to go with Caleb Downs. Since he's there, I don't think it's even a question. You're not even going to ponder on it. Instant pick to the Bengals at 10. Now, pick 11 here to the Dolphins. We're going to go with Mansour Delane. I do think Delane is the number 1 corner in this draft. Jermon McCoy is great. Didn't play this year. That is a little concerning to me, his injury history. So he might fall down boards because of it. But who knows? We'll find out. I do think still Mansour Delane, best corner in this draft class. Very instinctual, very smart. When he makes a mistake, he doesn't make it again. So you could see Jordan Tyson here. Just don't have it. All right, pick 12 to the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to go with Sonny Styles. I think Sonny Styles is just the obvious answer for the Cowboys. That linebacker room is just horrendous. They do need something there to help them. They need something there to help them in the back. Kenneth Murray Jr. might be one of the worst linebackers I've ever watched play football. And Sonny Styles is a great player. I've seen comparisons of Devin Lloyd in him, and I think Devin Lloyd's a dang good linebacker. I think a lot of people think Devin Lloyd's a dang good linebacker. So Sonny Styles at 12 to the Cowboys. They really need some help on defense. I've saw something, I don't know if it's fully true, but it's the Cowboys have not won a single game where they've scored under 20 points since 2018. If that's a real stat, that is very alarming. And so they need to fix something on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, they've had games where they've probably shut out teams, but then scored a lot more. But you know what I mean. They have not won any games where offense hasn't scored under 20 points, which is ridiculous. Now, pick 13 to the Rams. This might be a little unconventional, but I'm starting to see more people do it. I'm going to go Jordan Tyson. I mean, that would just be unfair. If Stafford stays another year, or maybe he retires, who knows. But giving whoever the quarterback is, especially if it's Stafford, giving him Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and Jordan Tyson, that's unbelievable. That's just actually unbelievable. It's a terrifying team to have to go play against. It's a matchup nightmare for defenses. You could see Jermod McCoy here. I don't see any tackles going 13 here, but Jordan Tyson's available. You get him. Devontae Adams is getting older, so you got to worry about that. Jordan Tyson is an absolute great player, and you get yourself another wide receiver that's just absolutely going to make your offense a living nightmare. Now at pick 14 to the Baltimore Ravens, we're going to switch things up. I might have done this last time, but we're going to go Vega Ioane. They do need interior help, and he does exactly that. He is the best interior lineman in this class. We've seen that teams are willing to draft interior offensive linemen higher. You didn't see it really too much. You see like tackles who are going to play guard, like Gray Zabel go 18, Tyler Booker who went 11, I believe. Vega Ioane is one of those guys that can go up there. So the Ravens need some help in the interior offensive line. Vega Yohan is right there for him. So now pick 15 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I believe we did this last time. I'm going to do it again. It's Kenyon Sadiq. I love Sadiq's play. He might be a little smaller tight end, but the two Idaho boys, him and Colston Loveland, really remind me of. I'm reminded by one and the other whenever I see one or the other play. If you know what I'm trying to say there, but Sadiq would be a great weapon for any team. I get it. The Buccaneers getting another weapon, really, when they need edge rusher. I know. I understand. And it probably wouldn't happen, but I really do like the match between Tampa Bay and Kenyon Sadiq. That would just be a great spot for him. So, New York Jets here at 16. We're going to go wide receiver. He's available. It's Makai Lemon, the Blitnikoff Award winner. Makai Lemon's a great receiver, don't get me wrong. And he'll be a great slot receiver for any team. My concern is his size and his speed. He's not the fastest guy in the world. He is a great receiver, however. Don't get me wrong. An absolute great receiver. But he's 5'11", 195. And that might be scary to some people, some GMs in the league. I still think he's deserving of a first half of the first round, and that's why he goes 16 here to the New York Jets. Now at pick 17 for the Detroit Lions, we're going to go drop down to edge, and we're going to go Akeem Mesidor. Akeem Mesidor has just absolutely put up so many great numbers. Him and Ruben Bain Jr., as we talked about earlier, have made matchups for college tackles just an absolute nightmare. He's going to be a problem, and guess what? He gets to do it again. He gets to do it again with a guy like Aiden Hutchinson on the other side of him. And as much as they could use that, maybe an offensive lineman help, maybe the corner. I've been going corner quite a bit for the Lions. Akeem Mesidor is just a fantastic player who, with Aiden Hutchinson, will be an impact starter from day one. Minnesota Vikings here at 18. There's a couple things we could do. We could go corners. We could go an interior offensive lineman, surprisingly, I feel like. But we could go and find ourselves a safety we think could jump in to the first round. But we're just going to keep it simple and go Jermod McCoy. He is, the injury this year, torn ACL, that is something that could make him drop, which made him drop on my board. But I don't think it's too much of an issue. He is still a good player. You watch his 2024 tape, it's still electric. It's still exciting. He still has the ability to play well. And so I don't think there's a world where he falls behind Minnesota because of injury problems. But we'll go Jermod McCoy at pick 18. Pick 19 here to the Carolina Panthers. I think the fact that this guy's even fallen to 19, they're just going to jump on it immediately. It's Peter Woods. You should get somebody for the defensive line as a whole. In Peter Woods, there's a world where he drops down more. Daniel Jeremiah just released his mock draft and said that some teams don't even value Peter Woods as a first-round draft pick. And to that, I don't believe that is the truth. I still think he is... obviously this would tell me I got to double check, but I still think he's my number one defensive interior guy. So you see it there. It also proves that I think so. He's excellent. There's a lot of things you need out of a defensive lineman, and he's going to be able to do a lot. He's not only going to help you in the passing game, he's going to help you in the running game. A team like the Panthers, who maybe if there's a world that Sonny Styles drops to 19, they pick him. But if Peter Woods is here at 19, that good of a prospect for a team that could use defensive line help, you go ahead and scoop him up. So Peter Woods at 19 to Carolina. Pick 20 to the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to go Cassius Howell. People do say he may not be the best pick. He is a pure pass rusher, really can't go against the run, not a three down guy, which is true. He's more of a third down and a passing down guy. However, you look at his stats in college, I believe he had 27 sacks during college. Yeah, 20 or 26 sacks in 3 years at in the last 3 years. I think he had 1 sack his freshman year or his first season. I do believe it's 27 total sacks. Excellent player, an absolute freak off the line. He's so quick. He's so fast, so quick. He's always going fast. And the Cowboys need an edge rusher. And the type of edge rusher the Cowboys need is a guy that's going to get to the quarterback, because they just need someone. After losing Parsons, they need someone to get some edge presence, someone to stress out those tackles. They really haven't had somebody do that this year. I do like their pick in Donovan Izaraku last year, and then Cassius Howell makes it even better. This defensive line could really shape up to be something impressive next year with a guy like Cassius Howell. Now, pick 21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think we went KC Concepcion. We're going to go wide receiver. This time we're just going to go Denzel Boston. You need somebody to complement DK Metcalf. Who else to complement DK Metcalf than a DK Metcalf-ish guy like Denzel Boston? He's tall, physical. He makes contested catches. If Rodgers plays another year, you give him another weapon. If not, Will Howard, you give him a weapon. I still think the Steelers should really give Will Howard a shot. He's been able to learn under Rodgers, and we've seen other Jordan Love's pretty dang good quarterback. So the Jets aren't a good example for that, but he also, no comment on that. But the Jets quarterback it was Fields, and he wasn't the backup for them last year. He was in Pittsburgh last year, but Denzel Boston to the Steelers anyways. Now, pick 22. The Los Angeles Chargers could use multiple things here. Caleb Banks could be in play here, definitely. Emmanuel Pregnon could always be in the play here. But we're gonna go Cade McDonald. Actually, I think defensive tackle is the biggest. Caleb Banks could definitely go. Caden McDonald could definitely go. And Christian Miller, another defensive tackle to keep your eye on. Daniel Jeremiah, put him in the first round. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to be looking like a Daniel Jeremiah clone and just doing whatever he says he thinks is going to happen. Although he is a very, very, very smart guy when it comes to this stuff. And I like the way he evaluates players. Lee Hunter was the guy he was talking about. I looked into him a little more. He could definitely jump up. You look at him. He does what he has to do at that defensive tackle spot, and so pretty good run defender. But Caden McDonald is a great run defender, a 91 run defense grade according to PFF, and I think that's what you want is it's just a run stuffer if you're the Chargers, and he does that exactly. He does that perfectly. Now the Eagles at 23, we're gonna go in for offensive line. We're gonna go Caden Proctor. They may not need tackle. That's kind of a long-term decision. Once Lane Johnson retires, you throw Caden Proctor in his spot. And you can also throw him in the guard spot. You might say he's too big to be a guard. Well, you notice what they did when they won the Super Bowl last season? They had Mekhi Becton playing guard. And Mekhi Becton's not no small fella, all right? He is huge. So Caden Proctor can be a guy you throw into the guard spot, learn a little bit more, learn how to not be as handsy with his play style and all that kind of stuff. But Caden Proctor would be a great chess piece for the Philadelphia Eagles offense. Now pick 24 to the Browns. Yeah, we went tackle. I'm gonna go Avion Terrell. I've seen people start doing corners, safeties, DBs to this team. They could use some depth in the defensive back position, and Avion Terrell does exactly that. I absolutely love Avion Terrell as a prospect. I think he is going to be an absolute dog. Whoever picks him up is going to be ecstatic. I mean, they're going to be so happy that they have this guy on their team because he is basically just a carbon copy of his brother. Him and his brother AJ Terrell play so similar. They play so above their size. It's impressive. And so Avion Terrell would be a good piece to help with Martin Emerson and Denzel Ward. He'd be a great extra defensive back for that team. Make that defense even better too. Like, wow. Chicago Bears now at 25. We're gonna do a surprising one now. I just said I didn't want to be a Daniel Jeremiah clone, but after reading about looking into it, Emmanuel McNeil Warren is a guy that could honestly fall into the first round. He's a guy to keep your eye on. Goes to Toledo just like Quinyon Mitchell did. And who was the guy that I really kept my eye on during the Senior Bowl and the draft day? Quinyon Mitchell. Guess what? He was the first corner off the board. I'm not saying Emmanuel McNeil Warren is going to be the first safety off the board because you've got a guy like Caleb Downs, but he's definitely a guy that could jump into the first. His production, his instinctiveness, just the way he plays is first round worthy. In a team like Chicago, who could really, and I mean really, use some safety help, especially because 3 of their safeties are going to be free agents. Jaquan Brisker, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and Kevin Byard, all incoming free agents. You need to just keep a safety in the back of the mind during this draft. And so Emmanuel McNeil Warren will be my pick at 25. Now 26 here to Buffalo. I think Buffalo's very happy that he's still available. It's going to be Casey Concepcion. They need a wide receiver, another one. Keon Coleman just isn't working out. Clearly, the owner doesn't want to keep him. Threw Keon Coleman under the bus. Just crazy to think about still. But another wide receiver is needed. Khalil Shakir is not a wide receiver one on a team, on every team. He's a great receiver, don't get me wrong, but you need to give Josh Allen another weapon. Casey Concepcion does just that. Now 27 to the 49ers. We've been going Caden Proctor pretty much every mock draft, and unfortunately for them, they don't have the capabilities of doing that this time. 2 things. Caleb Lomu, wide receiver. That's the 2 things I've got in my mind if I'm the San Francisco 49ers. Caleb Lomu or a wide receiver. We're going to go wide receiver, and we're going to go with a player that I'm going to believe could jump up boards because of his ability to play, his athleticism. It's going to be Chris Brazzell. There he is. He's kind of dropped down boards in PFF. If you look at the trends, end of the first round, now he's just absolutely tanked down. Still put up 1,000 yards this year, right? 61 catches, 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Had a very good year at Tennessee. He's 6'5", 200 pounds. I mean, you put a little meat on the guy, he's a 6'5" speedster, in my opinion. He's not like a Dante Thornton kind of speedster, but Chris Brazzell has the ability to be that guy that Kyle Shanahan would love to use him as a piece. You put him with another Tennessee guy in Jawan Jennings, maybe with Ricky Pearsall, and then you got, George Kittle. Just getting this offense another weapon would be dangerous for a 49er team that also cannot stay healthy. Getting a guy that can, another depth as well, that can jump in there. That would make the Niners have 3 guys that could be wide receiver 1. 5 guys that could be wide receiver 1. 2 of them just don't play wide receiver. One of them's a running back and one's a tight end. But Chris Brazzell, honestly, not a bad pick at all here to the Niners. Now, pick 28 to the Texans. 2 things, honestly, 1 thing. Offensive line, man. That offensive line's atrocious. C.J. Stroud was terrible this playoffs. Don't get me wrong. But I can't even put all the blame on him because he was just getting hounded the entire time. So with that being said, I'm going to go with Caleb Lomu. It's another situation. I really like Ariante Ursary. I still think Ursary could be a guard over a tackle. He's playing left tackle. Their guard who's playing left guard is not even a left guard. Caleb Lomu, you get him, you can move him to tackle or even move him to guard, and then you can have Ursary play the other. You need to bolster an offensive line there in Houston. Caleb Lomu does just that. Now, if you haven't noticed, I did just want to point it out. It does have the Patriots behind the Broncos in this. It just didn't update it for some reason. So I will tell you my Broncos pick, and then I'll tell you my Patriots pick, but I'll have to put them in the opposite order. But anyways, that's not even what we're talking about right now. We're talking about the Los Angeles Rams at pick 29. We're going to go Colton Hood. We didn't go with a corner at 13. We went wide receiver. We're going to get another playmaker for him. Colton Hood is definitely the playmaker they need at that defensive back position. We saw it against the Seahawks in the NFC Championship. They need something. They need something in that defensive back room. Kobe Durant, Emmanuel Forbes, like these are not names of players that are going to be on a Super Bowl winning defensive back team group. That's not if those are your two most noticeable names at the corner position, you're not going to win anything. Now, don't get me wrong, they did it with the 16th ranked defense when they won the Super Bowl in 2021-22, but they had a guy like Jalen Ramsey. They had a name at least. But anyways, pick number 30. It says Patriots, but we're going to go with the Broncos because the Broncos obviously did not beat the Patriots. It's Patriots and Seahawks in the Super Bowl. Pick 30 to the Broncos. Really not much of a thought for Denver. I think it's C.J. Allen. Whatever, if he's there. I think, we got him there, of course. But I think it's C.J. Allen if he's there. And, of course, he's there. So we're just going to write that in. C.J. Allen, great player. What the one position really the Broncos need to improve on defense is linebacker. So you get that. If Kenyon Sadiq falls all the way to 30, which I find it hard to believe, that's the most obvious pick of all time. But he isn't. C.J. Allen's here. That's your pick at pick 30 for the Broncos. Now for pick 31 to the Patriots, it gets a little interesting. You could go defensive line, honestly. I like their defensive line. You could go interior, I'm saying. You could go edge rusher. I think T.J. Parker is my idea of an edge rusher for this team. I think Monroe Freeling is also an idea for this team. His size, his ability, 6'7", 315. That's a huge size. That's what he has a great upside. He has great potential. And so Drake May has been under pressure a little bit more in the playoffs. They have played 3 of the top 5 defenses. So that makes a little sense. But you need to keep him protected. That's what you did with Will Campbell. That's what you did with, what's his name? Their left guard, Jared. Wow, okay, I can't believe I'm blanking it, but you guys can probably correct me or refresh me of the name. But they're good. They're good. They need to just keep on building, though. They need to keep on building. I believe their right tackle, is it Morgan Moses? I think it is. I know he was on the Ravens previously, but he's old. He's getting old. So I'm going to honestly switch up to Monroe Freeling, a tackle for them. I just think protecting Drake May is what you need to do. It's gotten you so far. You just got to be able to keep on doing it for the future if you want to keep making it back to the Super Bowl like they are now. And then obviously we said C.J. Allen for the Broncos. Now pick 32 to the Seahawks. We're not going to think about it too much. Still think corner is the right play here. Job isn't my kind of eye-popping CB3. So it kind of helps be able to use Emanwari a little bit more than kind of limiting him to a slot corner, I guess. But he hasn't really been limited. He's been doing fantastic under that defense. But Brandon Cisse is going to be my final pick here in the first round. So that's going to do it for this mock draft. I went a little bit quicker than the previous one. And so if my thing will finally load in, there we go. Here it is. We got Fernando Mendoza, obviously number 1. We got some new faces on here, some new risers, new players falling down as well. And so I'll scroll slowly down and back up so you can kind of see everybody. There's your first round. Let me know what you thought about the guy that I gave your team in the first round. What do you want your team to do? If you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate you if you just put a like on it, hit the subscribe button. It's free. It helps me out a ton. And we're getting excited, folks. Super Bowl's coming up in about a week and a half, and then the draft cycle continues, and it's just going to get more and more centered in on what's going to happen, and in our mock drafts, hopefully, will get more and more accurate. So that'll be it for today's video. If you enjoyed, as I said, hit the like on the video, subscribe to the channel, helps me out a ton. Let's hit that 1,000 before the end of the year. So we'll see you guys in the next one, and peace out.